Hi guys, Mrs. Leahy here. I am going to go over your summary score report with you, and everyone should have this from their PTE teacher. It's going to look just like this on the front page, except freshmen, instead of this up here, it's going to say PSAT 8-9, but it's essentially the same thing. There'll be a couple differences, but just kind of listen and pay attention to when those differences come up. So we're going to go ahead and go to the first page. Right here, this is just talking about your full score report, so you are welcome to get online and check that out. We are going to do something with this a little bit later with connecting it to Khan Academy, so we'll get back to that in a little bit. But if you guys could open up to the first page and you're going to see your score. This is just a sample student that College Board gives us to kind of run through with you guys. So this is just a student named Ema. And she scored a 960. And this is a really important thing to read through here is the percentile that you are. So it just helps you to understand what your score means in terms of other juniors or other sophomores, whichever grade that you're in. So for Ema, I believe that she's a junior based off of her report. And she is in the 51st percentile, which means she scored equal to or higher than 51% of the students in her junior class. And that's nationwide. And then from that, the 960 comes from these two scores right here. So evidence-based reading and writing is the 430, so 31st percentile. So that was a little bit lower because think about that. She only scored equal or higher than 31% of the student body. So you can see with that lower percentile, you can not only see where she kind of scored in terms of this bar line right here. So from 160 to 760 were the possible scores, obviously 760 being perfect. And then the benchmark is 460 for evidence-based reading and writing. So she was below that benchmark. So it says right here with this yellow exclamation point, it says your score shows you're almost on track. So that just tells you, okay, well then Ema needs to work on evidence-based reading and writing scores, which I'll help and show you guys how to set up with Khan Academy. Now when you look over at your math score, so for Ema, for example, she scored a 530, which is a little bit better. She is at the 69th percentile. So she scored the same or better than 69% of students in the junior class. So you can see that benchmark mark right there at 510. She was obviously above that, which then here she is in the green because she's above that benchmark. So it shows here your score shows that you're on track to be ready for college. Now, you could have a green check mark, a yellow check mark, obviously in whichever category. There is also a yellow exclamation point. There's also a red exclamation point that just says your score shows that you need to strengthen your skills to be ready for college. That just tells you got a lot of work to do. So it just gives you a sense of where you need to be. Now, the younger you are, 9th and 10th grade, you got more time. Junior, you got to kind of buckle down and get going on this Khan Academy because every minute counts that you practice these questions. It just familiarizes you and gets you more prepared. I mean, we all know practice makes perfect. We've all said it 100 times, but just think about it in terms of sports or theater or anything extracurricular wise. You have to do the practice to be able to perform. So it's the same thing with test taking. Down here, so with the test scores, this is just the categories, the reading category, writing language, and math. So you can get an idea of where you were out of the scores, so like 26.5, and then a 38 is a max. On to the next page. So this is where it's going to be a little different. This is for juniors. Yours is going to look like this. Well, juniors and sophomores, sorry. And it's going to just talk a little bit about scholarship. So this is something for the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. It is worth investigating. If there's a possibility that you can get some scholarship opportunities based off of your PSAT score, you need to go for it. Every dollar counts. So this here, I believe there's a website here, nationalmerit.org. So go ahead and just kind of investigate that and see if that's something that you could possibly qualify for. And then freshmen, I think you just have something about signing up for College Board and different things like that. So obviously you're not in the scholarship opportunity yet because that's for 10th graders and on. So we're going to jump down to this question level feedback page. This is my favorite page because we all should have our test booklets from when we took the test in October. So hopefully your PTE teacher passed those out. And this is everything that you answered on the test. So you can go back and look at the questions and see which ones you got wrong, which ones you got right. And then a really cool part is this difficulty level right here. So it shows like a 1 is a lower difficulty or easier, whereas the 3 is a higher difficulty level. Now, some of you may have these red highlighted boxes. This is just saying that this actually is kind of an easy question that was missed. Okay, so all these red boxes, she shouldn't have missed these because you can see they're just those one level, the level 1 easy question. So if you have any of those are good to go back and look at because it's as simple as you might have just made some small mistake, maybe with a negative or, added something wrong and then you selected the wrong answer for multiple choice and you got that wrong. And then obviously the green checks are, you got those problems right. Okay, so that's something that would be really worth going through. And then over here, it's just the question overview. So it's just, this is all your data, tells you how many questions there were, how many you got correct, incorrect, and even omitted. Okay, so that's a really good thing to go through. Okay, so next we are going to go to this psat.org/myscore. It's also on the very first page up top here. Right here. So I'm going to pause for a minute, and actually your PTE teacher should probably pause this video so that you guys can get logged on, whether it's on your phones or on Chromebooks if you have them in the classroom. And if you don't have any way to do this right now, then you need to write down these steps because it's really, really important that we get set up with Khan Academy because it's literally the easiest way to practice SAT problems. So once you guys get logged on, I'm going to need you to go ahead and create a student count. Now, if you're possibly a junior or even a sophomore, you might have done this last year, so you might have to play around a little bit with possibly remembering your password. So that might take a little bit of time. So if your PTE teacher needs to pause and get you guys set up with that, that's fine. If it is a time that you know that I've never done this, you need to make an account, then that's something you need to go through. So it just kind of goes through all the basic stuff. One of the things is you have to type in Lake Central. It does pop up, and then username, password, and there is a security question, which they're kind of annoying security questions. So make sure that you get that and then your personal information down here. You could subscribe to this monthly newsletter. That might give you good alerts for deadlines and free resources to study for the SAT. And then any parent information that's optional for you to type in. I'm sure your parents would love to get updates on SAT, but you decide and then make sure you agree and go to next, okay? So I'm going to get everything typed in for the student that I'm going to bring up. So give me 1 second to get that up here. Okay, so next what you guys are going to see once you get logged into College Board should be something that looks like this. So right away, these 4 boxes right here are really important. So get free SAT practice on Khan Academy. Take challenging courses. I'm thinking this is going to look into AP courses. Earn opportunity scholarship. So we talked a little bit about that earlier, so that's worth exploring. And then juniors and even sophomores in the near future, register for SAT. That's where you would go for that. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is click on the Get Free SAT Practice on Khan Academy. So you will click that. Maybe, there we go. And it's going to take you to this page right here. If you already have a Khan Academy account, great, then you can get going with that. I'm just logged into my account right here, so I'm just going to kind of pretend that I took the SAT to get you guys showing how to set this up. So you're going to go to right away to start practicing. And it's going to ask you this first question that says, have you already taken the SAT, PSAT, PSAT 10? Yes, we have. So we are going to select yes and go to question 2. And if I'm moving too fast for anyone, just pause this video and get everyone caught up. But then question 2 says to start practicing what you missed on your test, sign into collegeboard.org. That's the account that we already made. And it says, and send your test results to Khan Academy. Okay, well, that's what we want to do. So we want to select A. Onward. So what you can see here is that you guys need to type in your password for College Board. So take a minute and do that. So next you should see this screen right here that says welcome to official SAT practice, and we will select onward. So you can see here that we are able to kind of look at different areas that we can set up our practicing. So you can set up a schedule, which is really nice. So that's worth exploring. You can view your full test scores. There's frequently asked questions. This is that practice schedule again. All this kind of area here. So tips and strategies, full test review. This is really worth taking a couple minutes and kind of playing around with and getting comfortable with. So right here, everyone should see choose your practice schedule. And I mean, if you're not signed up for the SAT, maybe just pick something. If you're a sophomore, maybe just pick something in, I don't know, late May or something just to kind of give you a couple months to be practicing some things, or you can just say a future SAT. Now, obviously, if you're a freshman or sophomore, you are going to take the PSAT again, especially freshmen. It might be worth selecting this tab right here, future PSAT. So you're going to select whichever category you want. Go through next. And so obviously this is going to send reminders to me to practice. And it tells me what days I have set up as practice tests. So if you're someone that's taking the SAT coming up in a few months or even, 2 months here, this is something that you definitely want to do. You need to practice these tests. Now, I obviously am not taking the SAT, or if I'm a freshman or sophomore, I'm not taking it for a while. But these are still a good thing to just get comfortable with. The more you take the test, the more comfortable you're going to be with it when the real thing is here. So let's go ahead and select next. Now, this is obviously something that you can adjust. This is just what they came up with. So if you need to change any of these in your own time, go ahead. But let's select next. This part is where it's pretty cool. So it tells you, this is set up as a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practice session for look, only 15 minutes. How hard is that? So easy, and it's going to remind me at 8:30 at night. Now, if I was maybe an athlete or I was in theater or anything like that, maybe I have practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I'm not going to put those down. So I'm only going to practice 15 minutes for 3 times a week, so 45 minutes total, which is fine, but this is just kind of my schedule that maybe works for me. So now it's going to create, right here it says that I need to take a quiz. Now, I'm not sure if yours is going to show up that way because yours might be prompted because you guys have your scores in. I don't really officially have scores, so it's not prompting me to, it's not really merging my scores with anything. So this is something, if it comes up like this, great. If it's a little bit different, just kind of get comfortable with it, and here is your account. So just explore with it. And one of the really awesome things about Khan Academy is that you can download the app on your phone and you can get logged in. And like it said, 15 minutes. So, I mean, it's statistically proven that if you practice, a couple hours a week, that your scores are going to increase. That is proven. So if you're only going to spend, an hour and a half, 2 hours a week studying over the course of the next 6 months, I mean, you're really going to improve. So it's just really worth exploring. And if you ever have any questions with Khan Academy or setting up with the SAT, PSAT stuff, then you can come and see me, Mrs. Leahy, or any teacher, to be honest. We're all pretty familiar with Khan Academy. But if you would like to come and see me specifically, I'm over in the Freshman Center, E212, and I'd be happy to get this kind of set up for you guys. All right, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.